Buddy. So this is the second day of the SCOR camp in Rochester, and I took some video of the inside with, you go in and there is a set of tables off to the right that were set up by a local luthier called String House, and they're holding a reception this evening, so maybe I'll have some video for that. And then there's a dining area off to the left, as well as a desk where you get your packet and everything. And that's where the SCOR store is. I've been really impressed with the stuff that they have at the SCOR store, as well as the stuff with the luthier. I really like everything that was in there. And then there's the lunch. Lunch today were sandwiches. Really good. I guess they have a catering company. The catering company does a really nice job. So this morning's lesson was a whole bunch of different topics. We bounced around a lot, just covering little things here and there, but a lot of like self-care stuff because we are the beginner track, and you know, they want to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. And I thought that was fine. One thing that I'm noticing is that, you know, there's a lot of these moments that are basically lecture, where, and it may only be like 5 or 10 minutes before we'll start playing some stuff, and then we'll go into a little bit more lecture with the group lesson. And so, and sometimes it'll switch back and forth between the violins and the cellos or whatever. So it's good to have a plan about what you're going to do during those down moments. Especially for me, with my ADD, I have to fidget. So I got myself a little fidget toy this afternoon. So during those down moments, I'll have something that I can do with my hands while the teacher is helping the cellos or giving us a small lecture on some topic or another. I am really excited to head back in. I've got a few minutes before the ensemble practice, which happens in the ensemble practice happens in the chapel, which has amazing acoustics, of course. And there's several practice rooms here that people can go into at some point or another in order to try playing a little bit of chamber music with each other, or just practice a piece that is being used in the ensemble class. And I thought that was pretty cool that they specifically have rooms set aside for that. And I'll probably be using one in a little bit. Oh, speaking of practicing, the jam session last night, there weren't a lot of us. There were only a couple of people, but it was still pretty cool, and some people had actually brought music with them and had made copies to pass out. But anyway, I'm going to get back in and see what else is going on.
I believe it.
Or you're like, I play duets with my teacher.
Yeah. But I still like to take lessons in school.
Great. Perfect.
This year I feel much more.
So day 2 is over, and I'm tired, and it's a really good thing. They've been working as hard, and I've been learning a lot of cool stuff. Fiddle class was pretty cool. I think I am the newest and least experienced person here at the camp. I mean, a lot of people have been playing their instruments for like a year or so. I've only been playing for 6 months. So I am struggling really hard with a lot of the music that we're playing, but everybody has been really cool about it. Pretty much, as long as you can keep the rhythm, then they don't worry about whether or not you're getting the correct notes. And if you can't keep the rhythm, you just do a simpler rhythm. And if you can't do that, you just stop playing and pick up the song where you can. And it's not like we're playing anything very long, so it works out really well. And a lot of this stuff has been pretty easy for me to just kind of like tag along with a couple notes here and there, and it sounds good. I mean, the only time that me being such a newbie and being so inexperienced has been a problem is one particular song has a half rest followed by a quarter rest. And I keep forgetting about the quarter rest. So we had to practice that a couple of times in order for me to get it. But like, it's been cool. So we had the fiddle class. That went really well. And dinner was delicious. No surprise there. And then we went to the string house reception. And first of all, I gotta say, String House is a very cool place. They're the people who have the instruments in the main area at SCOR. And they have this reception. They set out all sorts of instruments. I mean, we're talking about instruments with 5-digit price tags and even some with 6-digit price tags. This evening, I played a viola that was 6 digits. And I used a bow that was 4 digits. Wow. And it wasn't just the one bow and the one instrument. Like, we had free reign of the place. We could go around it. We could try any instrument we want, and there were other people there who were trying every instrument they wanted. He had a case of Baroque bows that he set out for us to try, which was of particular interest to me since I enjoy history. And speaking of, probably one of the most interesting things about the whole visit was a particular violin. Here's a picture of it, and this violin is just absolutely, unequivocally beautiful in ways that I have never seen a violin be beautiful before. The reds that appear on the wood are just absolutely gorgeous, and I don't really know how to describe. I mean, that's why I took a picture of it. But you'll see in the picture there's a paper underneath, and that is a letter from the person who sold the violin to Stringhouse. And the story of that violin was very touching. It was a violin from the late 1800s that it was made in Prague. And it had survived the Second World War. The German family had survived the bombings and everything. And in 1950, they were trying to move back to their original home city, where they had lived for a long time before the bombing had made it impossible to live there. So, to help them move back, they were selling this violin. And it was just a cool story, especially given that I had just been playing the violin. I'd actually played Into the West, which is one of my favorite songs, but it is a very sad song. So I'd been playing this sad song, and it sounded amazing. And then I read this letter, and all those pieces came together, and it was just a really, really cool experience to have a little bit more context and detail to the history. in a very personal way. One thing I have learned from going to this reception at Stringhouse is that I can tell the difference between a okay violin and a really, really good violin, but I can't tell what that difference is. I can tell there's a difference. I tried so many violins, and I tried them side by side. I would pick up a $60,000 violin, play half of a song, and then I would pick up my violin and play the rest of the song. Arguably, doing one of the most dangerous things that a music lover and a musician could ever do is, playing their own instrument side by side to other instruments that are, shall we just say, out of their budget. And the difference was there. It was absolutely there. No question about it. But if you asked me to describe how they were different, what the difference was, be able to actually itemize or quantify, I can't do it. I don't know enough. I don't understand enough. And it's this kind of thing, this is what it kind of feels like how the prisoners in Plato's cave must have felt when they were finally released out into the real world and seeing the real world in the real light for the first time. It's kind of an inkling of that, where I've been spending the past I've spent my whole life really never playing an instrument like that, playing instruments that are literally copies. My harmony violin is a Stradivarius copy, and then being able to pick up violins that are on their own just instruments of such magnitude. I cannot express it in so few words, and here to a camera, I mean, I'd have to sit down and think about it and compose something. This is the stuff that poems are written about. And I feel a lot of gratitude to the SCOR camp for arranging this, and to Stringhouse for arranging this and for hosting us. Because if I hadn't come to SCOR, and if Stringhouse had been less awesome, then I would never have gotten this experience. So with that, I'm pretty burned out. No jamming tonight. I think nobody is jamming tonight. We're all pretty wiped. But I can tell you I'm very excited for tomorrow. So I'm gonna get some sleep, and we'll see what tomorrow brings.
They're my favorite.
Is this different now? Does she come in and do stuff? Probably not. Oh, okay. That's what she is. Not being so. Yeah. Aww. That's cute. Oh, it's nice to see.